I was very, very nervous before presentations, and I don't think I dealt with it too well.
I think I've been handling like bad crits very well, except for this one time. I'm not gonna mention the lecture. I'm not gonna mention what happened.
I feel like I know what you're talking about.
In this video, I speak to 3 architecture graduates who are amongst the best students in the country, and they'll be telling you about the most difficult and stressful part about studying architecture, and that is presentations. In this video, they'll be sharing their experiences and giving you advice on how to deal with presentations.
When it comes to the issue of mental health, this degree tends to take a toll on people. How were you able to remain calm in situations where you were under pressure or when you felt nervous before a presentation?
I would just tell myself that there's no need for me to be nervous. There's no need for me to be fearful, because I just tell myself I don't think it's that deep. Where like I don't think I need to be wearing myself this down just because of something that's so small in the life that you're about to live. Whatever happens after the presentation, there's always a chance for me to redeem myself. Another way is to always approach a presentation or a crit in a way where you know it's going to benefit you, in that whatever is shared in the presentation or is said to you during the presentation by your lecturers will benefit you in the long run. But then, when presentation time actually comes around, 10 minutes before I'm gonna present, the nerves will all start to kick in. The anxiety sometimes will also start to kick in, which is a very, very normal thing. As much as you try to tell yourself to relax and stuff, it's very hard to bring yourself at ease. Especially not knowing whether the lecturers are gonna like your project or not. Or the fact that there's a possibility of you missing a large chunk of the brief that you haven't responded to, and finding that out during the presentation. So all of those things play into feed your fear. And if you play that in your mind again and again and again, then you will feel a bit. When you're presenting your work, as you're explaining your project, I think definitely on my side, the anxiety starts to subside and stuff.
So it's always initial, then it is.
Yeah, exactly. Because then I'm more comfortable as I'm talking about the project. And a thing that helps me a lot to make sure that the presentation goes well is that I try to enjoy actually giving the presentation, right? Be excited to share your work with the lecturers.
To say I was not nervous I feel like it wouldn't be completely true, but I felt like it was very important that I'm not nervous, At the same time, I understood that it could also hinder my ability to perform well, So even if the nervousness might come, you have to suppress it by all means, Having the assurance that you know your design well enough to be able to present it to the best of your ability in front of the supervisors or the lecturers, to be I don't even try to explain my concept to people who don't do architecture, because obviously I feel like with architects, because we understand what is expected of us sometimes, just people, even if you're not explaining your concept well, your peers can actually understand it to be oh, this is what he's trying to do, this is what he's trying to achieve, I see what he's doing, the concept, everything. But then if you explain it to someone, I remember at the exhibition, I had to explain the concepts for the things that I had done to my friends, my family, the language museum that we had to do, the needle in project as well, I had to explain to them what exactly was required of us, how I was able to tackle the brief, what I was trying to achieve, So explaining your concepts to people as much as you can, whether they're in architecture or not, just doing that having them ask you those questions, you know, even the uncomfortable questions, like, okay, that's what you did, but can you explain to me why are you putting your services over here? Because would it not make sense to have any other service lane? You know, those type of questions. You know, that's just an example. But you know, people need to ask those questions because you know they opens up your thought process. Like, oh, okay, like, because what might end up happening is like we're very precious about our design, you know. So sometimes we might actually we might sacrifice the shape and form of the building for the practicality of the building, you know. So it's important to show your project beforehand, having to explain it so that by the time you get to the lectures, they can ask you any question and you're ready.
I was very, very nervous before presentations, and I don't think I dealt with it too well because I start like second guessing myself, and then I ask everyone, I'm like, what do you think? What do you think? Like, is this fine? Instead of just like keeping to myself and being brave. And some like last year design exam, I was so nervous I was going to fail because I think I got 56 for the last project of design, and I thought my project was so good, so I was already so upset about that. And then I got 56, and I was so nervous I was going to fail the design that I literally vomited the night before the exam. But I just completely built it up. Like, even this year exams, I feel like I grew so much because I was nervous, but I was prepared, and I was ready, and I was actually fine. So I think future Kyra needs to work on that.
Do you think it's a problem
handling it
to rely on others for support? Or do you think it's better if we all rely on each other?
To a point, validation is nice, and it's nice to have that, like, oh, this looks really beautiful. But I think 10 minutes before I'm about to present,
It's too late.
It's too late. And I need to rather just like sit and focus about what I'm about to do instead of asking if it's fine, because it has to be fine. Like, there's no choice.
So you're saying that you couldn't remain calm, but as soon as the presentation started, what would you do?
I think I'm very good at speaking, and usually I learned a very good tactic in the beginning, like actually point at your work. And as soon as I started pointing at my work, I knew exactly what I needed to speak about. So I didn't ever like practice my presentations or do anything. I think I just have like the natural ability to like pull off a good presentation. So just point at my work, and I literally move through it like as it's pinned up, and I point at what I want to point at, and then it usually goes well.
Did you like write a speech or something, or you just
Nothing, just spoke. So I don't know why I was so nervous before, because I'm really good with presenting. It's just, I don't know, build up. Like,
what did you do to feel more prepared and less nervous?
I think it's with maturity. We've had lots of crits this year. I've gone to all my crits. I've gone to all the lectures. So I think it's also like in the back of my mind, I know I'm fine because I've been there. And my lecturers support me and they back me as well. So I think that's very important, to make sure that you attend so people actually like support you and know that you're trying your best.
So do you feel like in previous years you didn't do as much as you were?
Not as, I think the lecturers backed me, but like,
yeah.
No, I don't think I worked as hard as I did this year. And I think the lecturers saw it this year and they were like, she works hard.
Let's say you had a bad crit. How would you recover?
I think I've been handling like bad crits very well, except for this one time. I'm not gonna mention the lecturer. I'm not gonna mention what happened.
I feel like I know what you're talking about.
Yo, like it was okay. I'm not gonna even say the year even, but that one time that I was presenting I was having my crit. It wasn't even a crit. It was presentation.
Yeah,
actually. So unexpectedly, like the comment that was said just pierced me in a different way, and I wasn't prepared for it myself, because up until this point where this bad crit happened, most of my crits aren't that bad, but obviously I would have crits where my lecturer says, okay, you need to pick up pace, what you produce here isn't good, which I would sometimes expect, because I know like the work I've produced at this stage isn't enough. So it's always those sort of crits, right? But this one crit, again, not even a crit presentation, yeah, I left it in, I was defeated. Let me say that. Like that's the word that encapsulates how I felt. I was so defeated. And when people ask me like, how did it come? Like, yeah, nah. Yeah,
it's always that thing of not being honest.
Yeah, like I'm just saying that it was okay. It was good, interesting, but good. And I think in that moment is, first of all, I didn't know how to interpret that comment that was made. Whether was it wrong on their half to make such a comment, or was it because I'm just overthinking it, I'm overreacting? But there were some signs that just gave it away, that the way the comment was the comment was unnecessary, essentially, based on how people reacted when that comment was made.
So the other lecturers didn't necessarily agree.
I don't know, it could be a lecturer, could be a student, I'm not gonna say, but yeah, like how they reacted as well, I was like, okay, yeah, nah. Then it's not just me it's not just the way I'm interpreting it, it's what it is, like the comment that was made was.
I'd speak to the lecturer afterwards and be like, this is the trajectory that I was moving at throughout the semester, but then it seems like I might have lost my way somewhere. So where do you think I might have lost my way? Because also there used to be that thing of like, because you might have been speaking to this lecturer for like a few weeks, critiquing your work, and maybe he didn't say anything, or maybe he said it's okay, and then maybe like 2 weeks before the green light crit, then he tells you, no, that doesn't work, So sometimes you'd be like, no, where did I go wrong? Because from my understanding, I was okay, I was on the right trajectory, but then all of a sudden, I was told that this is not working, So talking to your lecturers and finding out, okay, just asking them, how could have I done it better? Because in as much as some people might fear their lectures, you have to understand that a lot of your lectures are actually here to help you, so don't ever underestimate that. And also understanding that the crits should not break you down to such an extent, You have to understand that the work that you make is the work that you make. Don't take it as a personal attack to you, Also understanding that in as much as, yes, we're in varsity and a lot of people might feel old, we're still in the beginning stages, we're still in the fetal stages of this architecture journey. So for you to don't take things too much to heart, understand, like, hear what people tell you.
Well, I always keep it in my mind that it needs to be fixed. And I know that everything needs to be fixed. And usually when I go into these crits, I already know like what I'm about to receive. Like if it's going to be bad, I know it's going to be bad. Some of them I've had like a complete surprise where it was bad and I was like, wow, that was bad and I didn't want it to go like that. In the moment, probably just walk away, give myself a sweet treat. I don't know, just like go spend time with family. And honestly, you've had so little sleep. You feel like almost like the adrenaline kicks out and you always feel like you're drunk or like in a delusional state.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of lecturers, they definitely know how hard we work and that we sit here all night and that we haven't slept because they've gone through it themselves. And yeah, I think sometimes they're very harsh on us and it's actually unnecessary. Like I'm still learning and growing.
So what you tell yourself?
Yeah.
And that works?
Usually, and also the lack of sleep. Like you don't really think of it, you think about sleeping. So
But one thing which strikes me about what you said is, let's say you come for a crit and your work wasn't like up to standard, you would know yourself, right? That's why like when they'll tell you like you need to work in advance or you need to keep on pushing, it wouldn't be that surprising to you. So do you think it's mainly about the expectations that you have for that crit or for that presentation? Like for example, if you expect a bad crit and someone tells you your work isn't that great, like it's not that shocking. But let's say, like you said, you didn't expect to hear that comment, that's when it's going to hit you. So would you say people should like lower the expectations in a way?
Yeah, don't come with any sort of expectations. And I think also that like our lecturers, a lot of people keep on saying that a good thing to always do is to detach yourself from your work. Because once that connection is made where the project ends up becoming a passion project of yours, which is a good thing of course, but to the point where if someone critiques your work and it feels like a personal attack, then that's a sign that you've allowed the relationship between the project and yourself to be one where whatever is said about your project is going to feel like an attack on you, which is not a good thing. So it's definitely like in this instance, I think I managed, especially with like what was other factors were also playing into how close I was to the project and stuff. So because of that connection that I made with the project, it just felt like a personal attack. And then further on, it just felt that like, yeah, it just demoralized me. Yeah, probably.
And this was part 4 out of 5 of the Surviving Architecture series. I hope this video has been helpful. If you have any personal questions specifically pertaining to applications, feel free to DM me on Instagram at Khongelani. And if you want to see more stuff on my channel, please click on the video on the right.